When LeBron, Steph, and KD all retire, the NBA might be in trouble. The NBA right now seems to have a major problem as ratings have been going down and down for years at this point. I was born in the 90s, so when I was growing up, I watched players like Allen Iverson, who's my personal favorite player of all time, Kobe Bryant, Dirk Nowitzki, the Spurs, Vince Carter, the Pistons, and a whole bunch of other players. The NBA back in the day was completely different from the way that players talked, the way players dressed, and especially the way players played. If you would have asked me 20 years ago, I never would have imagined that I would see a 7-foot player like Victor Wembanyama who's able to do crossovers and shoot logo threes. I can barely process that today. But a lot of people are wondering why a league like the NBA continues to go down and down in ratings when you look over and you see the NFL, who has had their own issues, battling sexual assaults, battling racism, a person dying on the field, yet their numbers continue to grow and they basically print money. But the NBA just signed a big deal with Amazon, so financially it seems like they're doing okay, but any business will tell you a drop in viewers is not a good thing, especially with the NFL Millie rocking on their block and they giving us football, Mariah Carey, and Beyonce on Christmas Day. But what is causing the disconnect between the NBA and its fans? It could be a lot of reasons. One of the big reasons, in my opinion, is mainstream sports media. The conversation around basketball on TV is about everything but the game of basketball. Don't even get me started on Caitlin Clark and the WNBA and all the nonsense they got going on over there. But the NBA has always been a league that's focused its marketing on players rather than the team. The NFL is the shield. No player is bigger than the franchise. And then when it comes to the NBA, you got a bunch of dudes that can basically force themselves out of situations, and that's the grave you dig when you rely heavily on players. That's where you get a Magic and a Bird, a Jordan, a Kobe, a LeBron, a Steph. People don't actually care about the game. They just want to see their favorite player. I love Inside the NBA. I've been watching that show for years and I'm happy that the show is going to continue. But the reason why so many people watch that show is for everything outside of the basketball analysis. Like, I love Shaq, but let's be honest, he's a hater. Charles Barkley doesn't actually watch games, and I do like Kenny's analysis, but the show is based around jokes and viral moments. A channel like ESPN, which I do watch pretty often, is a terrible platform. They've been getting by on Jordan and LeBron debates for years at this point, and they seem to again only focus on everything outside of the game. They care more about drama and just the names of the big players more than the actual game. I hate hot take culture in general, but with the analysis that we get on NFL coverage versus NBA coverage, it's night and day. I already see enough ignorance on my Twitter timeline, and now when I cut on the TV, I gotta look at a bunch of retired former NBA players hate on the younger generation and then only want to talk about the big market teams. Oklahoma City and Houston have been really good this season, and I feel like I barely hear about them. Orlando has some good, solid young pieces, and it sucks that their best players have all gotten hurt, but even when they were healthy, I feel like I barely heard about Banchero when he was playing great. It's just 40-year-old LeBron and Steph Curry. But another key aspect to look at, in my opinion, is the players today. A lot of the younger superstar talent in the NBA are non-American, and that does play a part in marketability. I love Jokic and watching him play, but he's Serbian and he talks like he doesn't want to be here. Giannis is a freaky frog, SGA is Canadian, Wemby obviously French, Luka and Embiid. You have a ton of foreign players dominating the sport. And then when it comes to the American players, you have people like Jason Tatum, who I do think is great, but he doesn't have a huge personality. John Morant is a YN, Anthony Edwards is a superstar, but he's never going to win anything as long as Gobert is on his team. And then on top of that, you have a bunch of people that only want to support big market teams. People have been begging for Edwards to go to the New York Knicks. People want LaMelo out of Charlotte. People are hoping that Giannis leaves Milwaukee. You have a league of 30 teams and you only want players to go to 5 of them. I do feel like style of play does play a big part in this. Like, I feel like this is the most talented the NBA has ever been, at least in terms of skill. But as a longtime NBA fan, I just don't feel pressed to watch games anymore. Before this season or whenever they changed the rule, you had players that were always sitting out. Everybody is jacking up threes, refs hand out technical fouls like candy, and every player refuses to believe they do anything wrong. Every single time the ref blows a whistle, I see a bunch of players crying and everybody going like this. Every time. Today I'm 30 years old, and I feel like for a lot of people around my age, they live in this sense of nostalgia because basketball back when we were growing up damn sure wasn't perfect. And I feel like millennials, we turned into the old heads that we used to hate, because I remember when I was growing up, people would be like, oh, Dr. J, Pistol Pete, Now that's real basketball. I feel like that's what millennials have turned into for Gen Zers. Millennials, we've turned into those people that seem to think everything was better back when we were younger. Like when I was growing up, if you handed the center of the ball anywhere outside of right underneath the rim, it was going to be a turnover. But at the same time, it is annoying and weird to see a bunch of 7-foot players like Karl Anthony Towns or Brook Lopez just standing at the three-point line hoping that somebody swings them the ball. When it comes to style of play, I don't know what you can really do at this point. I mean, players travel all the time. Like, I blame James Harden for this. But for some of the moves that the younger players do today, I don't even know what traveling is anymore. And then like with the refs, you can't allow defenders to play defense, because if you allow them to play defense too tough, then the offensive players are going to start crying. It's a tough spot. So the product on the court can be really hard to watch if you have the ability to watch. I watch 90% of NBA games with a ski mask on. I'd be on my computer with a shiesty mask just to watch basketball games, if you catch my drift. I don't have cable. I don't pay for NBA League Pass. Like, I love the TNT coverage, but I'm not gonna pay some ridiculous price just so I can watch TNT and ESPN sometimes, because they don't even have all the games. And I'm damn sure not paying for NBA League Pass. I hate that app. The experience of watching an NBA game today just isn't that exciting to me anymore. Like, I could be excited all day to watch a great matchup later that night, and then I sit down, I watch the game, and then it's halftime and one of the teams is already down by 30. I've been a big fan of basketball my entire life, but I've always been more of a football fan than a basketball fan. Like today, I'm just not pressed to watch games anymore. Like, I do keep up with the scores, I do watch games, but I'm not at a point where I'm going to stop what I'm doing and go out of my way just to watch a game. I don't care if it was the New York Giants versus the Jacksonville Jaguars on a rainy Thursday night football game. I'm gonna watch. In basketball, I'm a Timberwolves fan, and the other day we played the Lakers. Did I watch? No. I was too busy watching Montana State play Idaho in the FCS playoffs. For me, I got a bunch of friends that are big NBA fans, but even they don't watch it religiously. Like, for some people, you have some fans who think that 82 games is too much, but then you also have players who don't want to take a pay cut if they play less games. So it's kind of a tough spot. Like in the NFL, if you lose one game, that can ruin your season. In the NBA, if you lose one game, you got 50 more to play. I'm gonna be honest, I don't give a damn about this NBA Cup or whatever it's called, and it seems like a lot of fans don't either. I saw this on Twitter, so it has to be true, but apparently the get-in price for the NBA Cup, Bucks and Hawks is $29, Thunder Rockets is $29, and to get into the NBA Cup final is $39. Those are old WNBA ticket prices. That's crazy. I feel like it's a lot wrong with the NBA, and you can probably name a million different reasons why the ratings are dropping. The casual audience just isn't as strong anymore, which is crazy to me, because basketball is one of those sports that literally anyone can play. Like for me, as a big football fan, throwing a football to myself isn't fun. Going to the gym and getting up jump shots is. Like, I'm not saying the NBA is in danger or nothing like that, but from a business perspective, it's not good. But thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe if you're new here. We talk about a bunch of different things on this channel. What are your thoughts on this topic? Why do you think the ratings are dropping? And do you feel like you've watched less basketball over the years? Let me know in the comment section below. Love you guys. Tell someone you love them. Until next time, see you in the next live.